What's up YouTube? It is Bryan Sosack with the Man in Black Leather Studio. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to get a measurement for a custom leather garter. So I've been doing leather work for almost 10 years now. I grew up in a leather shop, and one of the things that has been growing a ton of traction and a ton of popularity has been custom bouquet and garter sets and other custom items that have to do with weddings, whether it be shoes, autograph books, bouquets, garters, even high-waisted belts, men doing tooled parts of their jackets, a ton of different things. People are really leaning into their Western heritage, culture, and just wanting to have a little bit of that Western and country flavor on their big day. So if you're a customer, congratulations on your big day. Second, if you are a crafter, hopefully this will be informational. This is how I personally take garter measurements. It's very straightforward. It is very simple. We're gonna get straight to the point, follow these instructions, and your garter should fit perfect. So what we're gonna wanna do is make sure you're standing. I know a lot of people have the tendency to take this measurement while sitting down, but what you're gonna wanna do is definitely take this standing. On your wedding day, when you're walking, you're gonna be standing up, and the way your leg is gonna settle is gonna be a lot different. It's kind of important to pick the leg that you're gonna wear it on, just because, as you know, human bodies aren't perfectly symmetrical either side. So, you might have one leg a little bit bigger than the other. I know I personally have one leg that's about an inch taller than the other one. So like the distribution of the thickness of my legs is different. So all you're gonna do is take your soft tape measure, take whatever leg. Normally ladies are gonna wear it on their right leg. Make sure you are using either going straight to the skin or using something very, very thin that is not gonna add any extra material. I don't want to get my pasty ass thighs out on camera, so I picked these workout shorts where you can see they are very snug fitting. So what we're gonna do, make sure you're also picking the location on your leg. As you can see, my legs are pretty tree trunky. They're really thick up here and they narrow down out here. I know some women have an even more extreme taper, especially if you are very wide hipped and have really crazy tapered legs. So you're gonna wanna pick the spot on your leg in which you want your garter to sit at. Super easy, super straightforward. I usually tend to recommend going a little bit higher. I know a lot of people kind of have this pucker part of their leg. I like to go a little bit on the top side, which will help with it staying on a little bit better because it can kind of come up and over and catch some of this meat you got in here. Because if you do it too low on the lower part of the taper, it's going to be just kind of a downhill battle. So I recommend right about the thickest part of the leg. Make sure when you cinch it down, you don't want to go too tight. You want to go just snug, just kind of cinching it down a tiny bit. Shop cats in the shop today. So you can see that I have bigger legs. I also have squishy legs. I carry a lot of my extra weight in my thighs. So you'll see right there, I have a 20-inch thigh measurement. This is gonna be right where the garter is gonna sit. And that's that. Super straightforward, super easy. Personally, when I make garters, I make them with a little bit of adjustment so you can tighten them, loosen them. Maybe there's more taper. You can kind of mold it to your leg a little bit better. But you're gonna see right here that it's still super important and super accurate because right here's our 28-inch mark again. Now, if I measure a little too low, this sucks me down to about 25 and a half, 26-ish, which is 2 inches off. And then if I also go too high, we're gonna have kind of the same effect. This is a little more accurate. This is about 27 and a quarter. It's really close to the 28, but it's still not quite 28. We could take this measurement on multiple parts of our legs and basically get different numbers every time. Now, for you people who don't want to go out and spend the $2 to make sure your garter on your special day is perfect, I'm gonna give you an alternate method. This is something I do not recommend doing. I highly recommend just stopping this video and going to Walmart or Amazoning something. It'll show up in a day and a half. This is the old cable method. So you can do this method with a string, a shoelace, all kinds of different, stuff that looks like this. I recommend doing the phone cable because the phone cable does not stretch, and you do not want something that stretches. If you use a shoelace, a string, anything that might stretch, that's gonna affect the measurement. So what we're gonna do is use a phone cable. Same exact concept. Pick the side that you wanna count as 0. So we're gonna use the side that plugs into the phone as 0. C, leave it, mark it right where I said. Now what we're gonna do is keep our spot right here marked. Then what we're gonna do is come over to either you got a yardstick or a actual tape measure, and we are going to take from 0 to the place we marked it, and you're gonna see perfect, exactly like I said, 28 inches. 28 inches. So as you can see, super straightforward, super easy. Do not overcomplicate it. The only problem I usually have with this is when ladies have a super tapered leg where just the top of the thigh is like this wide and then it tapers down to their knee that's like this. So the taper is usually super aggressive on their thigh. When that happens, and if you know you're one of these people who have an extremely tapered leg, you're gonna wanna basically wear it as high as possible so you can get up and over that widest point, because although it tapers, it usually comes up to a point like this. It's usually not a complete cone shape. It usually rounds back off at the tip. So this, up in this zone where your leg starts thinning back out higher up on your thigh, is where you're gonna have to wear your garter at. This is something that's leather. Leather's not really stretchable in comparison to doing a traditional, elastic, really lightweight style garter. This is gonna be heavier. It's gonna not stretch as well. So that is part of the give and take of having, a super custom piece. I would highly recommend, putting it on before your wedding day and like walking around with it and going, okay, is this gonna fit properly? That's, tooled out of leather versus going with a traditional kind of just elasticy, traditional style garter. So if you aren't one of these ladies who have an extremely tapered leg, you should be completely fine almost setting it kind of wherever you want on the thigh. Again, I do recommend going as high as possible. Plus, let's be real, when you take those photos showing it off, it's gonna be saucy. You're gonna have that whole leg up and out. So it's your wedding day, you should feel special, you should feel pretty, you should feel attractive. So let the garter fly. So that is how I get garter measurements. If you're a customer, feel free to ask me any questions if you still have any. If you are another crafter out there, hopefully this method kind of helps. This is how I do it. I've trial and errored a few different techniques. This is the one that I like the most, and for me, it just works super well. This is how I do it. This is how, when I go and lay out your garter, it is going to be measured, and I have all my stuff on my back end that you don't need to worry about. But if you do it this way, it's gonna fit perfectly. It's gonna be special. It's gonna be radical. It's gonna be a sick, nice little touch to add on your wedding day. So again, this is Bryan Sosack with the Man in Black Leather Studio. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I will catch you in the next one.